Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Brad here. So today I want to talk about the 4 biggest mistakes that beginners in the stock market make. Okay? There's a lot of mistakes, but these are very prevalent. And the thing that Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett learned is that if you can avoid mistakes, that goes such a long way in helping your investment returns. You don't need to do brilliant things. You really just need to avoid the critical mistakes that keep coming up over and over again for investors. So let's get into those. Number 1, chasing price. Now, there's a peculiar thing about stocks where as stocks get more expensive, people like them more. Now, that's not true of anything else. Say you buy hamburgers, right? This is an example Warren Buffett uses. The Buffett household is going to be buying hamburgers for the rest of their lives. When the price goes up, they weep. They're sad. Now they have to spend more for the same thing. When the price goes down, they rejoice. So it's really peculiar that when stocks go up, people like them more. And I think the reason for it is that people look to price to tell them to be some indication of the value of a business. And when the price is going up, they think, oh, this business must be becoming more valuable. And that's not always the case. And looking at the price blindly to tell you about a business is a terrible idea. It's going to get you into trouble in investing. So that kind of gets us into point number 2. Mistake number 2, overpaying for a company, for a stock. Now, there's two different ways you can look at a stock, okay? There's the price of the stock, which tells you basically the price at which the last party bought and sold that stock, okay? There was an agreed upon price where someone sold, another person bought. That's all it tells you. The stock market is an auction-driven market, okay? Now, the value of a business is determined by the financials of the business. After all, a stock is really just a share of equity in a business. And so the value of a business is based on what the business is doing. The numbers, the competence of management, the skill and competence of management, what the trajectory of that business is over the useful life of the business. So there's a lot that goes into valuing a company, but price is not one of them. What the shares are selling on the stock market is not one of those factors. And, Buffett also says, rule number 1 is not to lose money. That's rule number 1 of investing. Rule number 2, see rule number 1. Now, the way you don't lose money is when you pay significantly less for a share of a business than what it's worth, okay? And you do that with a group of companies. And then you're basically guaranteed not to lose, okay? So, the reverse of that is paying too much for a company. Paying more than what those shares are worth based on what the business is doing. Now, when you pay too much, you've got a much higher chance of losing money than you do actually making money. And that's the whole thing in investing, is you're laying out money today to get more back in the future. So if you're overpaying, it's not really investing, it's speculating. You're gambling because the chances of you making money are against you. It's improbable that you will make money. So that's number 2, overpaying. Number 3, too much activity. Now, there's a saying, money on Wall Street is transferred from the impatient to the patient. The more activity you have, the more you're chasing the colors and the flashing numbers, as the Wall Street, tickers are changing all the time. The more activity you have, the more you're paying in transaction fees, the more you're paying in taxes, the more Wall Street is making, okay? Investors, the tried and true way to make money as an investor is to buy something for less than it's worth and wait until the market prices it fairly or even overprices it. That's the whole buy low, sell high thing. When you buy low, you have to have the patience till it gets high, to the point where it makes sense to sell. So patience is the opposite of being too active. I know for myself, when I started investing, it's very tempting to do things. As we go through school, as we go through life, there's a lot of signals that doing is a measure of productivity, right? Of getting things done. But when you're investing in the stock market, usually the more you do, the worse you do, the worse your portfolio does. Because there aren't a lot of great deals out there at any given time. I mean, there's a lot more now than there is most times as we're in this recession. But usually there's not a lot of smart things to do as an investor. Unless you buy index funds, then just do that every month or however often you make contributions. That's a great plan. But in terms of individual companies, individual stocks, there's not always a very intelligent thing to buy. There's not a lot of bargains that are floating around all the time, at least in areas that any one person can understand. So that's number 3, too much activity. If you're going to buy stocks, have what I do, have a list of companies you like and wait until the price is significantly below what you think those companies are worth, what those shares are worth. So that's number 3. Number 4, it's so important to have a plan, okay? It's easy in the stock market to have a shiny object syndrome where, a Tesla comes along, Bitcoin, it's not the stock market, but Bitcoin comes along, and you see this opportunity where there's all this hype about it, and you just abandon your plan because you don't want to miss out on this exciting new opportunity, okay? But if you don't know how to value that company, if it's not within your circle of competence, if it doesn't follow your plan of how you select opportunities and buy stocks, then it's unwise to dabble in those things, to veer from your plan. So mistake number 4, not having a plan and sticking with it. I mean, this is something that professional investors, they make this mistake all the time. It's really hard to stick with what you know and stay away from the shiny objects. The shiny objects will always get you into trouble, okay? So those are the 4 mistakes that beginning investors in the stock market make. Chasing price, liking it more as it goes up, overpaying, not knowing what the actual value is as compared to the price and recognizing that those are very different things. Too much activity, slow down, be patient. And number 4, having a plan will help you with number 3. And it'll help you stay within what you know. So that's it, guys. Those are the 4 mistakes that beginning investors make. Not only beginning investors, but you see professional investors make these mistakes all the time as well. But really integrating those and having a grasp of what those mistakes are having a checklist when you're looking at new investment opportunities can help you make rational decisions rather than emotion-driven decisions. So that's all I got, guys. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. That'd be fantastic. Help the algorithm, show this video to more people who are interested in investing. And hit that subscribe button. I'm making a video every day about investing in stocks. And I'd love you in my tribe. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.